So we've come down to where I thought maybe we would find Hosana, and he is indeed here, and he's busy stalking some warthogs. So here are the warthogs, and then Hosana, there's the warthogs there, and Hosana is just under the tree, underneath there watching them. So there he is. I think it's Hosana. I'm not 100% sure. It looks like him, but difficult to say. I just came around the corner and spotted the warthogs looking quite distressed, and there's this little leopard head in the thicket there. So this is very, very cool. I'm very excited because we haven't seen Hosana in a few weeks now. In fact, since Karula went, I don't think Hosana has actually been seen. So very, very good to see him. And you can actually see a woodland kingfisher in the foreground as well. It almost looks like the warthog is busy smelling the kingfisher. There's the kingfisher, and there's the warthog in the back. Now, the warthogs think that something is up. You can see they're not very sure of what's going on. They want to wallow, but they're not 100% sure of what's happening. You can see they're a little bit nervous, and it's probably mostly because of us. I don't think they've seen that leopard. If they had seen the leopard, they would have been a lot more sort of aggressive towards the leopard. These are both quite big warthogs, so Hosana is going to have a really tough time to bring down a warthog of that size. And like I say, I think it's Hosana. I'm not 100% sure. All I can see is just sort of this ear and half a head. So very difficult to actually get an idea of who this actually is. But wouldn't it be incredible if it's actually Karula? That would be nice, but it looks like him. It just sort of looks like the right size for him. Now, I don't want to go any closer to him because I don't want to ruin his chance if he is hunting these warthogs. And they are moving very close to where he is. So if you see that warthog there, he's starting to go across, and there's actually one in front of it that is really getting quite close now. So there's the other one there. See, it's walking slowly now straight towards where that leopard is sitting. Now, let's see what happens here. Like I say, these warthogs are quite large, so this leopard's going to have to be a bit careful. I have seen leopards get themselves into all kinds of trouble with warthogs, particularly young males. They tend to try and bite off a bit more than they can chew, and they go towards these warthogs and they end up getting chased. And you see, look at how the warthog is scenting. It's got its nose in the air, it's busy sniffing, trying to see what's going on. Absolutely incredible. And it's interesting to watch this leopard. This leopard is just sitting watching. It's not crouching down at all. It's still got its head fairly up. And I think the warthogs have decided it's time to run. But the problem is that they don't want to just run blindly into this long grass, because there could be this leopard anywhere. And they're not 100% sure where this cat actually is. They're sitting watching and sniffing, but I don't think they actually know. And they're nervous to go through this long grass because ultimately they don't want to be caught short. So let's see what happens now. There's a big yawn, so it doesn't look like they're too interested in what's going on. So Sheila, you're saying that if this is Hosana, how far is he from Shungile? Well, straight line distance, I would say about a kilometer. So that would be about right. It's not too far at all. But now that I look at it, I'm not sure that it is him. I think I'm going to just try and reposition ourselves slightly. Oh, sorry, I see the warthogs have just started coming back towards him, so I don't want to go close to him. It's difficult to say. Like I say, I've got such an obscured view of him, that, or whoever this leopard is, that it's tough to say who it is. But it just looks, kind of the bulkiness of the head almost looks like it is him. But we will find out in time. We're just going to give it a chance and see where these warthogs end up. Because the warthogs, like I say, are quite nervous as well. They don't know quite where to go. I think they know something is afoot, and maybe there's a bit of a scent drifting around here, but they've got no idea that there's a leopard sitting as close as it is to them. And so with us being here, they're trying to kind of stay away from where we are in case we're sitting with the leopard, and that's why they keep going sort of into the grass. It looks like they're coming now back towards the wallow and away from this leopard. Just going to try and reposition us ever so slightly, just so that we can maybe get, for the viewers at home, can maybe get a sort of ID on who this cat is. It might be a bit of a better angle for you, Craig. There we go. So, I don't know, anybody, if you can get an ID from that. It looks quite tough from here, but I will say one thing, the nose looks quite dark on this cat. And the ears are all in good condition, so it does look like Hosana to me. think that's who it is. There we go. Yes, it is him. Now that he's turned, we can see those big ears and that sort of very stout muzzle. So it is Hosana. So yeah, he's not too far from Shongile. In fact, I'm sure Shongile walked this way, because I haven't found her tracks yet. And we're now sort of at the mud wallows of Shabam, which is an area that both Shongile and Hosana often like to lie at. And from here they tend to head to Treehouse. So what I'm hoping is that Hosana is going to go up towards Treehouse and Shongile is going to go down towards Treehouse, and the two of them will meet at Treehouse Dam. That would be quite nice. But isn't that camouflage incredible? Absolutely amazing. The warthogs are still hanging around. Like I say, they're still a bit nervous as to what's going on. They're not quite sure where they should be going. And that's two young males, these warthogs. So you can see they've got that extra little set of warts on the middle of the face. That's how we know that these are males. You can see them quite clearly. But look, they're very, very alert. And look at how that nose is working. They're trying to pick up the scent. And there is a slight little wind that is sort of drifting around at the moment. And it seems like they know something is not right, and they know this vehicle is here for a reason, but they can't put their finger on it. And that's why they keep coming towards the pan, where it's a little bit sort of more open and they can actually see what's going on. Now, there was a group of warthogs 2 days ago that I'm pretty sure these two were a part of, that had piglets. Now, I wonder if the piglets aren't somewhere close by and sitting in the other mud wallow just north of us. Could be the case as well. But you can see Hosana is just biding his time, so just sitting in the thicket, waiting, hoping that these warthogs will come closer to him. Where he is now, he's got the advantage because he can stay still, although when he starts scratching and making a noise like that, he's going to give himself away quite quickly. But isn't he beautiful? And I believe a lot of you are very happy to see Hosana, and we've been spoilt. It's been a great weekend. We've had all of the cats that we want to see, except for Karula. So hopefully Karula is going to come out, but it's been great to have the old man, Mvula and Tingana. Both of them are getting a little bit older these days, and now to have the two little royal kids is very, very cool. No, don't go that way, Hosana. That's the wrong way. So he's starting to move southwards a little bit, which is not good. But I don't think he's going to carry on this hunt. You can see he's moving away. He's not really interested. So I think we're going to try and keep up with him so that we can spend the morning with him moving around. It's so good to see him. He's much bigger than the last time I saw him even. He seems to have gotten taller than what he was. So good to have him around again. Well done, warthogs. Very clever. You didn't go the wrong way. Where have you gone? Oh, there you are. Nature's darling, you're wondering if Hosana would still share a meal with Shongile. Well, yes, I'm sure he would. He's still would be very familiar with her, and I'm sure they've been meeting up a lot more than we think, although he's now off on a run. I don't know what he's chasing, but it seems like he's found something that he wants to chase. Hold on, Craig. Of this cat as he goes down in the grass. He disappears completely. Now I don't want to move because these warthogs will run if I move any further, and at least we can still see his little ears poking above the grass. Now he is quite close. I would say he's probably about 10 meters from them. He needs to maybe get a little bit closer than what he is now. But let's see how this goes. It's very interesting. I wonder if he, for some reason, has tried to separate these young ones from these two adults. That would be my guess, is that he's got in between them, and now he's seen these little ones, and he's going to rather hunt these than the adults. Craig, can you see the little one, the warthogs? I just saw them very close to where he is now, moving off a little bit, but absolutely incredible how well camouflaged he is. And the warthogs for that matter. It's also almost impossible to see them. They're somewhere around there as well. I can't see them anymore. But I didn't hear them running off into the distance. while we kind of watch him waiting there, just get back to that sort of sharing of the food. So I know that the two of them have been on a few carcasses down on Little Gowrie together, so if they do come back together, then yes, I think he would share, but reluctantly. He's going to try and eat as much as he can for himself and not share with his sister, but if she is around and he's had his full, I don't think he would mind if she did feed. I don't think the bond between the two of them has severed at all. They're probably still looking around for each other quite a bit. You can see Shongile definitely is going around contact calling, so she does look for him. Whether or not he's interested in her being around him is another story altogether. And I think only now that we've got the two of them on the property and we'll see if they actually come together, will that sort of tell us what the story is between the two and whether or not that sort of bond has severed as much as what we think it may have. Like I say, I'm hesitant to move because I don't want the warthogs to run away. I want to give Hosana the best possible chance that he can, and also not to disturb the warthogs in any way that they run in panic into him. So we're trying to just keep it as fair as possible. The camouflage amazes me. If you had to come past here now, you would never know there is a leopard there. It is almost impossible to see him with the naked eye. And you're lucky that we have these cameras that can go so far in and zoom in. But if you look in that picture now, if he doesn't move, you can just see the two little ears poking through the grass there. But if he doesn't move, you would drive past that and wouldn't even know that there's a leopard sitting in the grass there. I wonder how often it happens to us. I wonder how often we drive past and we see these kind of things, or don't see these leopards in the long grass like that. But it seems like he's still watching straight ahead of him. So maybe those warthogs are just around that mound somewhere. Just trying to see with my binoculars if I can spot any of them, but I don't see any warthogs anywhere in front of where Hosana is looking. So, Mind Warp, you say you're wondering if Shongile would hear a squeal of a piglet if Hosana had to catch one. Well, I would imagine she would. That sound carries a long, long way, and even us as people, we would probably be able to hear it from quite a distance. And in fact, where Shongile is, we would definitely be able to hear it. So I don't think it would just be Shongile that would hear it. You would find hyenas would hear that, other leopards potentially could hear that, and come and investigate what's going on. So a warthog, there's always a risk with a leopard when it kills a warthog, because the warthog makes more noise than any other sort of animal when it's dying, bar probably a buffalo. They tend to make a serious racket. The other thing is that a warthog is quite a tough animal, so it doesn't just die straight away. It's not like an impala that gets by the throat and goes quiet and then gets suffocated quite quickly. Warthogs tend to put up quite a bit of a fight, and they don't stop squealing until they die. So it's a little bit sort of difficult to watch and to be a part of, but it also is difficult for the animal that kills them because it tends to attract a lot of attention towards where they are. But I see he's now slinking in the grass there. Or is he lay down? Craig, I can't see now. It's disappeared completely from where I am. I'm a little bit lower than where Craig is. There he still is. So you see he's moving forward slowly. You can just see those collarbones. Isn't this amazing? Now, for any of you who have watched Ghosts in the Darkness, it almost looks like a scene out of that movie as this cat slinks through the dry, long grass. Now, I wonder how close he is. The last time I saw the warthogs was just beyond where he is, maybe 5 meters from the bush that's in front of him. And the way that he's walking tends to suggest that those warthogs are very close. He's very careful, very deliberate. He's moving with his feet going slowly. So I would imagine that those warthogs are there somewhere close by. And it's amazing that we can still be able to watch this leopard and see him from where I am. I can't see a single thing. I can't see a spot, but at least with the camera being slightly higher, we've got a bit of a better vantage point. But isn't this exciting? So he's obviously really getting used to this hunting, and you can just see the difference between him and Shongile is just that size. He's able to wrestle with these large if he does grab them, just because he's slightly stronger and more well built than what she is. She unfortunately is having to target smaller animals, and I think he's also just a lot more confident in what she is. He tends to give it a try, where she seems to be a little bit more timid now that Karula is away. And so you can see the difference between the two of them just in the way that he approaches things. But there he is, just in that thicket, still slowly moving. Now with the leopard, you'll have exploded out. I don't know if they actually saw him, because the way that they ran, they kind of just all bombshelled and then they all stopped. So I don't think they actually saw Hosana. Normally when they see a leopard, they don't stop running, they just keep going, and they've all stopped quite close by here. So I wonder if they maybe just caught a scent of him and that caused them to run. It's difficult though, because I can't see either party involved now. I know there was a warthog somewhere in front of me that ended up stopping here, but as Hosana, I have no idea where he is, so I'm going to try and just see if I can reposition myself slightly, that we can just keep tabs on Hosana. And while we do that, let's go back to Ali and see what she's gotten up to in the last little bit.